Goedendag, mijn naam is Luc Sala en dit programma is voor RAZO, een Amsterdamse omroep. En we zijn in Amsterdam, maar we gaan toch een gesprek houden in het Engels, want het is een beetje een wereldtaal. Ik ga praten met Nunzio Caponio. Hij is Italiaan, maar eigenlijk een wereldburger. Iemand die de wereld heeft rondgetrokken op zoek naar de diepere betekenis van de dingen. Ik heb hem in Amerika ontmoet op Fire Dance en hij is nu in Amsterdam. En we gaan wat praten over wat dat betekent. Op zoek naar de diepere betekenis van de dingen. Op zoek naar de diepere werkelijkheid. En de titel die ik daarvoor gekozen heb is Nunzio Journeyman. En dat betekent in gewoon Nederlands de gezel. Vroeger, in de tijd dat we gildes hadden, hadden we in een gilde een structuur met meesters, met gezellen en met leerlingen. Je begon als leerling, na een tijdje werd je gezel. En als gezel was er, naast dat je van je eigen meester iets leerde, moest je een jaar de wereld rondtrekken als journeyman, als wandergezelle, zeggen ze in Duits. Je ging bij andere meesters het vak leren, kijken wat ze deden. En dan kwam je terug en dan moest je een meesterstuk maken en dan kon je meester worden. Maar dat woord journeyman wil dus iets zeggen als van niet helemaal een beginneling, maar kijkend wat er in de wereld te koop is. Op bezoek gaan bij andere meesters. En we hebben het dan over spirituele meesters. En dat is waar ik met Nunzio over ga praten. Zijn naam betekent ook iets van de boodschapper. En ik geloof dat dat een spirituele boodschap is. Welcome Nunzio.
Thank you.
Here in Amsterdam. Yes. It's a little bit colder than Italy, is it?
Well, I was swimming until a week ago, so
Yeah, okay.
yeah, the weather was very nice. I mean, even though it's raining everywhere, but it was good.
Yeah.
You know, it's always nice.
So I described you as a journeyman, as someone who is going around the world, staying in far away places like Japan and Hong Kong, doing your life, your work as filmmaker, but also searching for the deeper meaning of things. Now, you're now 37. Have you found any deeper meaning in all those messages?
Well, I think I think more than a deeper meaning in itself, it's more about layers. And every time you do an action, you do something, you tap into layers of in this mystery of life. We can call it so. So journeying, in a sense, is a collection of layers that you go through it. And I find it really interesting because even though sometimes you go around the world, to find things because there is the interest, to go and see different cultures because you need to have a certain understanding of a different perspective. But there is also, I find it very surprising that even though people don't go anywhere, they go through those layers in different circumstances through society itself. That gives the possibility to journey within a good community.
Yeah.
Now the problem is that the community is needed to do so, and one of the biggest problems I found is that people living in the world, in this society we live on today, it's kind of stuck. There are not the elements of people interacting to each other. They're not organic anymore. Everybody's pretending or is playing a character of some sort. Everybody's playing a part. And also everybody does in a very bizarre way. I mean, we assume that the new generation would not. They have a better understanding and so on. But actually they play a part as well. So everywhere around, if you analyze this in society itself, everybody's playing a fixed role, a dead role, which doesn't actually exist. So what it means? That means that a society, a community, if it's functional in the right way, that everybody puts out his own uniqueness, it's absolutely enough to grow, to go through those layers, and possibly there's no need to go anywhere.
Okay, what you're saying is that people like you who went to faraway places, Nepal, Varanasi, places all over the world to seek the deeper meaning of things, you might have well found it in your back garden or in the community you're in.
Well, that's what upset me a lot because, you know, and then, you know, we connected to the fact that I heard you mention about fire dance and so on, is the fact of the community, how important it is. And now it's missing this important community of people that together can help each other to grow. That is missing. It was missing where I come from, and it's missing many other places as well. Yeah. So you're forced, you know, to kind of go out and search, you know, and get all those elements together, trying to obviously understand, you know, what your whole existence is about and how you relate, you know, to the existence itself. Because there are many different kind of existence that kind of interconnecting each other. So the basic needs that everybody has is to find our existence in connection with existence.
The community.
With the community, in a sense, as if there is that community close by, great. If not, you have to find your connection within the greater community, the world in itself. Okay, and that's where the journey starts, in a sense.
Rhythmic synergy, tempo tribe, positively primal, shamanic, anarchistic, archaic, revival, boss drum, self-explanatory, planetary information is our situation on mystical rhythmic beat, taken over and over and over and over with a sound, altering our state of consciousness. Nevertheless, a game we accept in a techno-tribal, positively primal, shamanic, anarchistic.
Now, we met at Fire Dance. Now, Fire Dance is a group of 500 people that go to a place in the woods in America, Santa Cruz. Very nice environment, far away, at least an hour from the next village. You go there, and for a few days or a week, you dance around the fire every night. Yeah. It's a great feeling of community and even a feeling that it's like a family, that you belong to. How did you experience that fire dance family?
Yeah, that was a very interesting experience because what I found, you know, let's say at one point, I realized that everybody was actually playing his own being. I mean, his true drama of life. Nobody was playing anybody else's drama. Nobody was playing the drama of how you should dress this year. Nobody was playing the drama how you should think. Nobody was playing any kind of fixed drama, but everybody was playing the drama, the mystery, the drama of their life. Everybody. So it was really interesting because obviously being in a situation where, especially the last 3 days, and the Firebird, was that the community left, the 100 people, I think, or so, was incredibly beautiful to see at night time the 100 people that were playing that drama, and you will be able to reflect yourself in each one of those drama, and they will reflect, you know, a precise part of yourself, you know, in their drama. You will reflect, you know, your drama into their drama, and that's where the growth really is about. It's about the dynamic reflection of truth from our self, our existence.
Could you rephrase that by saying, by looking into a true mirror of yourself?
Well, by true mirror, yes. You reflect as you are. So your reflection is what it is. So you don't play those external plates, let's say masks, let's call it masks.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, everybody is totally themselves. And when you are in such an environment, number one, you can't really hide yourself because otherwise you cannot communicate with people. It's impossible. there is a kind of a blockage of communication if you're not, also yourself very vulnerable, very open. So being a fire dance was a very beautiful experience indeed.
Yeah. If you compare that, because you have traveled a lot and you spent some time, you even lived in Varanasi, which used to be called Benares. Now this is the city where the Ganges, which comes from the Himalaya, which is after hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, comes to this place, which is one of the real holy places of India, where the idea is that if you, as a Hindu, die, you go to Varanasi and you are burned at the border of the Ganges. It's the holy river. People go there to take a bath, to do puja, as they call it. These are these beautiful rituals, Hindu rituals, and some of them are even older, call them Vedic, from the Vedas. Yeah. Vedic rituals where fire, air, water, they all play a role.
Good festival on come in Kasi Hall. People of Gangotri Seva Committee doing welcome Mahakum and Mani Mozart. Good festival on come in Kasi Hall. People doing any problem come in Gangotri. Many house Bengali people.
You see people there taking a bath in the river. They take their clothes off, they don't really care. Normally India is very prudish, but there they don't seem to care. Now, would you say that at that environment, there in Varanasi, people also take off their mask?
Well, with tradition, obviously, it's very tricky because you step into a ground where it's very easy that you start making assumptions about how it should be. make an assumption how holy man should look like, make an assumption how you should behave, to be good, and so on. So, I mean, it's a kind of dangerous in a way, because it's a very fixed pattern that is very easy to fall into it, and
You mean the theater play is already there?
Well, the truth of the play itself, I mean, the element that plays within the play itself, they're based on an incredible ancient truth. So obviously there is knowledge into it, but it's very easy that the way those energy, the way those knowledge, the way everything is played out, it can easily be played out in a kind of dead format. So it's very easy
that the
to
ritual became
it became
dead.
dead. It's not alive anymore. It's gone. You are into old words, dead words. Is gone. Because the ritual itself, I mean, I find that is connected with the moment in itself. Now, what might be a certain situation 2,000-3,000 years ago in India, it might be different now. So more than a ritual itself is the awareness of the moment that from there springs the ritual, springs, all sorts of different things, comes from, is that moment. Now, the good things about, India is that obviously there is a deep study about the moment, the deep study about the energy that takes place into the universe and everything, but the freshness, that every time that plays into the moment, that's, I think, is very important to be aware of. And so with those teachings, I found, it's easy to step into the dead pattern of just, as the Catholic people go to the church and they don't know really what this means anyway. Just you go to the church, you listen, you do things, you pray. But is it real prayer? Is it real understanding? Is it real? Is it really coming from a real place? So that's my question. I don't know. I mean, some people obviously are very real, and some people not. But there is a danger in this kind of situation, I found, when...
Is that missing in society, that real ritual, that being in the moment, being in connection with this other dimension? Do we miss that?
Well, there is it's almost like a step-by-step kind of thing. I think the problem with the society today is that everybody wants to go to the last step. You hear people, they're talking about enlightenment, as I don't know. I mean, as I go into the shop and buy, a pair of shoes, that kind of stuff. I think it's important to go in levels. I think it's important that awareness comes in steps. Awareness is about the very little things that you do every day and the way you do them and so on. So it's almost when you are at school and kids, play at school, and they draw or whatever, if you have the wrong teacher, what really usually will come up is that you always have this image of where you want to go. And the image is very, very far away. It's really out there. So, and people get concerned with the image. Everybody's reading these beautiful words of Lao Tzu and Taoism here, or Hinduism and whatever, which is that beautiful. But there is a kind of a primarily work to be done, that before you get in touch in any kind of situation out there, would be quite interesting, and I think as a good step, to get in touch with your own.
You mean simple steps?
I think simple steps.
Get in touch with your emotions, with your feelings, with who you are.
Yeah, that's it. I wouldn't bother to go anywhere else.
In simple words, to learn to take off the mask. Have.
And find a community and people to share that kind of environment where you can be who you are, because it's very hard. It sounds easy, but actually it's not.
You went to many places. Like one of the things you told me about was the Gurdjieff community in New York. Do you find that their way of removing the mask and being as a group is a useful way? I
mean, I like Gurdjieff a lot. I mean, it's a warrior. Went out there. He really. I mean, is a true seeker. I mean, he risked a lot, for what he's done. I mean, then the outcome of it, you get all these different groups around about Gurdjieff, Uspensky, and so on. That's, then it becomes kind of another story. Obviously, the experience is first. Now, what I found, with the group, I mean, it was great because there were really a bunch of people that actually they were on the same page about growing. And it was really, really good. And lots of awareness about the details, little things, which was really beautiful. Kept on your toes all the time. Very nice. The only problem I found in the long term is that there were some kind of restriction about, and restriction and rules. Rules, you need rules, but rules, very hard to give rules to a community of people, because what might be a good rule for me today might be not for you tomorrow. So the structure and rules, I have a problem with it, because I think it's always good to have the freedom that you never know what is the right things at the right time, and that awareness to know what you really want and what you really need at that moment is very important. Rules kind of stops, that kind of imagination to go on and be. And I find rules in all sorts of tradition anyway. Yes. But the actual tradition itself never came from rules. That's, I think, it's quite important also to note that.
Well, maybe we should compare this Gurdjieff movement, which comes from he was a Russian guy who in the first half of the 20th century became quite popular with an idea that our behavior is very mechanistic, that we are like machines, that stimulus response, you respond to something. A little bit later there was another big movement which is called the Osho movement by Osho. You went to Pune, which is one of the main places for the Osho movement.
Yeah.
You spent some time there. How does that compare? Did that compare with this Gurdjieff group, which is a little bit more strict?
Well, I mean, Osho, I think it's wonderful. I mean, it's like a playground. I mean, especially in Pune or any sannyasis around the world or wherever, they have their playfulness about themselves. They don't take really things seriously. There's lots of playful attitude, lots of loving attitude. I mean, it's a very, very, very good place to be because it's safe. Everybody. It has a very good energy there. Nothing is really serious. I mean, Osho itself, embraced the old tradition, or the only person I think that ever actually went through all the tradition and talk about and kind of give an understanding of things that before they were quite unknown. And he kind of embraced everything in one big thing. And I mean, his job. I mean, done a really big stuff, big work. I mean, a lot of people had Osho as a springboard, and that's what I found with Osho is it gives the playfulness to search about yourself without being too or that kind of being serious, because spirituality is a serious matter. We have to be very. So with Osho it doesn't happen, and that's beautiful. So it's a springboard with a happy soul, to go off, and then comes more serious work as you go along, obviously. Some
of the more serious things you did were in Nepal. You went in Nepal, where close to the Himalayas. You went to see people there and learn about Tai Chi.
Well, no. In Nepal that was like talking about different steps. Was another meditation center, and things were a little bit more serious there. I mean, as I said, Osho is very good springboard, but then again, if whoever wants to do the work has got plenty of room to do work. But you have and it's a nice environment. In Nepal, it was a little bit different. It was more structured. It was more like.
This was the Maitreya Center, where you?
Yes, yeah. That was. We're talking about there's 6 hours, 5-6 hours a day of meditation. So it gets more heavy. You get more inside yourself and silence. You don't talk with other people. Everybody's very much doing their work. So suddenly you find yourself in a very unique space, where you can't really relate to anything, that actually is going on around. So this reflection, they get to stop, and then you get very much in your sense. So it's different kind of work.
Yeah, but that was a Buddhist tradition.
Well, it was, very much, based on, Buddhist tradition, very much so.
You've also lived in Hong Kong, you've been in Japan a lot. In Hong Kong you got in touch with more of the Chinese traditions of Tai Chi, Qi Kung, which are both using the word Qi, and Qi is the body energy, life energy that flows in us, that in Tai Chi you very elegant use to balance your body. Yes, how does that compare to, again, the Gurdjieff and the Osho work?
Well, I mean, then again, we step on a completely different ground, because Gurdjieff itself is more an intellectual of the spirit. I mean, Gurdjieff is more about understanding the mind, the way it works. It's also about understanding. So he puts things in a completely different kind of different frame. Osho also does the same. He's very much into the understanding where. Is an intellectual analysis of where the man is coming from today. So understanding where is at now. So and that's very important, because then again, going into techniques there's been from 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago, where the world was completely different, where we had lots of nature around us that supported us. Naturally, people were in a very interesting space already. So to do the work was like a kind of different kind of scenario. Now we're missing the elements, basic elements of fresh air, good food, you know. So I mean, the basic things that are very, very important, because being in a nice environment with good food and fresh air and lovely people, I mean, that does 50% of the work already. I mean, boom, like that. So here we're starting from below zero. As a matter of fact, you know, talking about China here and going back to Tai Chi, the Chinese, they used to say, well, I mean, they divide the man into 3 different kinds. So you have the enlightened man, then you have the wise man, and then you have the normal man. So everybody will assume, well, okay, I'm not enlightened, fair enough, you know. Wise, well, you know, some people put themselves into the wise category, and then most of us will say, well, we're normal. Well, I mean, that has been said like a few hundred years ago, and the story goes that in China they haven't seen a normal man in 300 years. And that was said, you know, hundreds of years ago. So we fight with normality, which I think, you know, is a very important point to understand. All our psychology is based on as a figure of a man which is below normality. We dealing with just being normal.
As everybody has problems, and a normal person would have no problems.
Well, no problem. Let's say the normal person will be aware of himself, and will have a functional body, basically, with no blockage. So if we go back into Tai Chi, I mean, we have all different blockages. It can be an energy blockage, emotional blockage, and so on. So a normal person is someone who is aware of his function. It's like someone who has a computer and knows how to use it. Someone who is not normal has a computer and thinks is wrong. There's a virus inside. Open things, the Windows crash. You know, can't use the program. You can't put the data inside. That doesn't know where to put the data. And so on. The normal person is just someone who knows how to deal with himself. He's aware of the energy around, and then from there, he does the work. It's not finished, of course, it's never ending, but that's almost the springboard of a normal person. Can enjoy a relationship, can enjoy other human being, can enjoy the love making, can enjoy anything about life. But that normality today, it's a very, very hard thing to achieve. So it's all about normality. So back to the Tai Chi and Qigong, we get into tradition, they step to, you know, quite a long time ago in a way. And we're dealing basically with awareness of Qi, prana, whatever we want to call it, is the life force, the energy that is around us. So it's the communication between ourselves and our surroundings through precise exercise, and in Qigong, I mean, in this case. Tai Chi is a little bit different kind of story. Tai Chi is an advanced form of martial arts. It's very advanced. I mean, it's not something you want to start with. A lot of people say, oh, do Tai Chi, you know. It's actually wrong. Tai Chi is very advanced. It's something that comes you need to have your body to function already very well to do Tai Chi, because Tai Chi is about is about energy, is about it's very precise, it's very powerful work. You can do just by mimicking, other people, fair enough, but it could be fun too, and it's very relaxing also. But it's an advanced work. I mean, you should have all your energy line opened up with Qigong or with acupuncture, whatever there is, exercise, whatever. And then once your body really is flowing with it, then you can get into Tai Chi and it could be fun.
When you travel, like I traveled in China or in Hong Kong or in Japan sometime, in the morning you look out of the window and you see a square or a garden full with people doing Tai Chi. It's like very common to do. All the people do it. Does that mean they are all more normal, as we just discussed, as we Westerners?
In a sense, yes, they are. In a very bizarre way, Chinese, they are aware about themselves more than we are. They have more, let's say, the form, the outside form, the energy, the vibration, or whatever you want to call it. It's felt more into the Chinese culture than in our culture. I mean, our culture was very aware of this, probably, in the past. But at the moment, we're so busy with other stuff, and Chinese, they're becoming busy also with their things, and so they're slowly forgetting where they're coming from.
Do you feel that that's like the modern world is creeping up on them, coming in with television, radio, mobile telephones?
It's coming on about 1,000 miles an hour, something like that. Yeah. It's like, it's devastating.
Would you personally like to live think about Tibet, regions where the monks still sit and do their praying and they yeah? Is that something you would like to live?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I think I come from. I think balance is really what counts in life. I mean, you can't to just retreat yourself and not experience life. I don't think is the case. I think it's good to balance your day with a little retreat, with a little communal work. I mean, if you have all these elements in place, I think that's really what is important. None of the extremes, possibly none in our culture, will work. But it depends also. Some people, they love to sit down and they're happy doing it. It depends also about the person. What where you're at.
But do you feel that those communities you visited, monasteries in Nepal, Tibetan monks, doing their, not only their praying, but of course they do their work. They sing. They have to feed. They have a normal life. There's a community there.
Yeah, there's a community, but then again, it's work. I mean, it's. I think, it's also misunderstood, with, they don't just sit there and meditate. I mean, they're doing serious work. Like Tibetan, they seriously do work. I mean, it's not that they seriously, they're scientists, basically. They're not just sitting meditating. They're really, they're dealing with a science in itself. And they're expanding this science and this consciousness as they go along. So I would see Tibetan monks more as a scientist than actually a monk in itself. They do amazing work. I mean, as a foreigner, we only get to see probably the very, 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 very just
a small outside.
Just probably 10% of really what they're actually doing. I mean, it's slowly in the last few years, and so many more publications have been translated, and you get more books and stuff and things that you got to understand. But I mean, Tibetan work is pure science. The science of the mind, the science of the human, the science of the universe. I mean, they're very scientific. They're probably, with the Hindus as well. I mean, they're scientists.
Yes, scientists. Now, you've traveled, and for the past few years you lived in New York, made films, did acting, had all kinds of creative activities. Have you, for yourself, journeying around the world and seeing things, have you kind of came to some message that's your own, some understanding? You say, this is where I stand in the world, this is what I want to do, like the essence of your spiritual counseling work.
Well, I mean, what I found, which is very important, I think, is the community. I mean, especially the way things are going at the moment, things are going so fast. We are in war already. We're in big times in war, even though, yes, seems like nobody's really shooting at us, directly, but we are in a very circumstance of a war zone. And I think it's very important to the community. So my understanding basically is really to be lucky enough to be within a community where you can grow together and you can share the things about life and by yourself.
Of course, if you go to India, if you go to a monastery, such a community forms itself. But how can we make those communities, say, in a city like Amsterdam?
Well, the community, I used to do a work in New York, because my work comes from New York, from the acting background and the theater. So basically, I've done work, even like 2 people together, or 3 people, or 4 people, it doesn't matter, is to be able to reflect yourself, that truth about yourself with someone else, which is important. Now, if you do that in India, or if you do that, or,
in
Amsterdam, or you do it in New York, or you do it wherever you want, it doesn't really matter. As long as, you have the opportunity to do so, and you create that safe space. Obviously, when you go to India or other country or you travel, it's easier to come in contact with people that are searching for the same thing. So you travel, you meet beautiful people, but there are beautiful people everywhere, kind of thing. So you don't have to go too far. But yeah, you can create the same concept wherever you are. It's just really about creating it, really.
Okay, creating your own environment. That's the story. That's the message of Nunzio. Creating a space, even in Amsterdam, with a few people where you can throw your masks off. And throwing your mask off, you can show yourself, and then you might see yourself in the eyes of the other. You might face yourself. And I believe if we are more truthful about ourselves and see ourselves in a more clear light, then we're going to be more happy, more connected. And then these small communities kind of would connect in a wider sense. Well, thank you, Nunzio, for sharing with us your ideas of traveling around the world. And we hope you will come back and we will do more programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.